right club. Be the right club today.
Johnny, that's better than most.
How about in?
That is better than most. Better than most.
Expect anything different?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up live show, presented as always by our friends at High Noon. Solly here. Big Randy is here. Hello, Mr. Big.
Hello, hello, hello.
Mr. Pie Man is here. Hello, DJ Pie.
Greetings, guys. Randy, sorry about your guy, Tom Kim.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have a lot to talk about, and you can bring the Fiesta anywhere you go this week, this weekend, this month, this year, with the all-new High Noon Tequila Seltzer Fiesta Pack. The Variety 8-pack features 2 new tequila flavors, Blood Orange and Prickly Pear, alongside 2 tequila favorites, Grapefruit and Lime. I'm doubling up here because I'm going big can today because Troon brought the big cans today on these players. We have a lot to talk about. Randy's on Grapefruit.
I know I'm on vodka too, but sorry.
That's okay. Listen, that's okay. We're close enough. All are made with real tequila and real juice, perfect for any fiesta. Find the High Noon Tequila Seltzer Fiesta Pack nearest you at highnoonspirits.com. High Noon, sun's up. Pie Man, what is the story of the day from the 100 and whatever Open Championship?
The 152nd, I believe. As much as I want to get to my guy, Team Rose, I mean, that was a hell of a round of golf in the afternoon. As much as I want to get to Big Shot Bob showing resiliency 2 weeks in a row, I'm going to say Shane Lowry, story of the day. Not a hot take. But man, he was kind of one of those guys. We didn't think he was going to go away. We thought he was a mutter. They are who we thought they are. They are who we thought they were. I think that's the quote. He played great today, man. He played great. A little bit of adversity there on the 11th hole, but he didn't get headless. He kept his head about him after snapping at a bit of a cameraman. But that was
he laughed about it.
He laughed about it afterwards.
It's great, yeah.
And just put the pedal down coming in. So loved watching Shane today. He's my story of the day.
Randy, what do you got?
Well, Dan Brown survives another day. He went out in 2 over. I think everybody would have thought, okay, it's just going to be a slow bleed, maybe a precipitous drop, but he hung in there. I believe he came in then in, 1 under par, and he finds himself tied for second. So good on him. I'd say broadly speaking, I'm not sure if I saw a shot. No, that's not true. I saw Scheffler miss his par putt on 18. I'm not sure if I saw a shot live from anybody in the top 7 or above on the leaderboard. They were all playing when I was deep in my dream state. I was remming hard. So I just got like a whole morning of just, there was some good golf in there, but a lot of bad golf. And I actually really enjoyed it.
So it was the bad golf that you love because it was conditions. It was the fight that you've always wanted out of a U.S. Open. It happened. It happened at Royal Troon today. So that's kind of my story of the day. Was like, that's about as good a conditions as we've seen in an Open Championship since I don't know when. Usually, like the really windy days have come with a lot of rain too. Which, I mean, listen, it's fun to watch rain golf from time to time, but I just straight wind is the most entertaining to me. It is, and it comes less of like a slop luck fest and more of a like, no, manage your golf ball, like manage it right now, manage a really tough opening stretch. Bob McIntyre did not manage a really tough opening stretch, but battled back to make the cut. JT did not manage the opening stretch very well, but he battled back to make the cut as well. Max Homa battled a tough start to make the cut on the number there at the very end, which was sick. But Rory McIlroy most certainly did not handle the conditions well, but it was a separator. It was a separator today, and that was kind of the story of the conditions were great yesterday, but it was even better today. And a little bit of wave, a little bit of drama. It kind of died down there on the back half, but I feel like we didn't get a ton of amazing moments today just because of the whole day was just kind of just freaking tough.
Yeah, a bit of a survival test. And I think one of the things that I love most about this tournament, I know this is just obvious links golf stuff, but the effective size of the bunkers just gets so much bigger when the wind gets like this too, right? Where you start losing it, you can see it like Max hit a drive on, was it 12, I want to say, where as soon as it left the face, It was like, oh God, 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 oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, because there's just so much bad stuff that can happen once you lose control and the ball, leaves the face and starts moving the wrong direction. It just becomes, it's just so tough out there, and it can bounce into gorse bushes, it can bounce into those bunkers. It's so much. It's the most exciting type of golf once the ball is, has left the club. Once it gets up in the air, you just truly don't know what's going to happen. It's great.
Deej, I thought a perfect example of that was Rahm's tee shot on 16, where he's trying to play safe. He's got the iron, and it just takes that big initial forward bounce and he hits it right into the burn. Like, you don't see that shit anywhere else but good links courses. It's really good.
Which I still don't really fully understand why Rahm wasn't trying to go over the burn. I mean, both guys in his group went over the burn.
Thing.
You know, and in that later window, it became kind of the thing to do was just pound it right over that burn. I know Tyrrell Hatton, of course, hates that hole because it's what good par 5 in the world do you have to hit 4-iron 3-wood into? Name one. I can name one right now, Tyrrell. It's number 16. It's a great hole. It's awesome. It's a great feature, that burn. It asks you, like, hey, if you're going to lay back of it, how close do you want to get to this so you can still get there? And two, how in control of your distances can you be? How much risk do you want to take on? With a little helping wind, do you want to go over it? I got some Tyrrell takes that I'm letting seep in here, kind of almost like Amsterdam, because that dude is just, I'm so over it. I'm
let's have a little therapy session. I want to get it all out of you today, Solly.
It's just like, yeah, if that guy was American, people would hate him 8 times as much as they do. Like if people think that JT is bitchy, look at Tyrrell Hatton. Like every single day and shot of Tyrrell Hatton's days. I feel like that's what I'm going through. It's awful.
Yeah,
I can't have you bitching about this setup. This setup is like one of the best we've seen in a major in so long. It is very appropriate. And if you're going to bitch about this one, he's the only guy I've heard complain about the setup. That should tell you the exact story.
That was the only thing I was going to say, is at least he's consistent. He does bitch about every setup.
That's true.
Truly, I can't really. It would be weird if we got through a major where he wasn't complaining. It feels like he just kind of hits them all. How do you, Solly, how you feel about our guy, Angels and Demons, Dan Brown, leading the field in strokes gained putting?
Don't know what any of that means. I've never read any of the books still. So he's still from last night. I have not read any of the books. But, I was very much, he did the thing yesterday where, that happened a lot, like late in our show, basically, that he posted 6 under par, and it was I felt comfortable with that, because it was like, hey, if you're still there tomorrow, we'll talk about you then. And he's still there, and I don't understand how that guy's missed that many cuts in a row as he has. I don't understand how. Go ahead, Rainey.
Can we just keep pushing that? Like, let's make that a Saturday thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe if he's one more day. Yeah,
he's currently leading the field in strokes gained off the tee and in strokes gained putting. Good combo.
I was gonna say, like, his golf swing, it looks like
real golf, man.
Zero effort. It looks like zero effort. It looks like tailor-made for links golf. It doesn't look like the timing is going to get horribly off. If there was a day for it to blow up, it would have been today. I mean, he wasn't necessarily playing in the worst of it, but it was still not easy for that earlier group. So an interesting kind of Todd Hamilton, Ben Curtis storyline to go in there, which is great for the Open Champ. It's this tournament's unique in that regard. This does not happen at the U.S. Open nearly as often as it does in the Open, and it's going to be really interesting to follow. It's better than just having more Justin Roses up there. No offense to Team Rose.
What was Todd Hamilton? I listened to your guys' look back at that was 03?
04.
04. What was he in the world, Solly? Do you remember? 170 something?
I want to say like 82 or something like that, but I can look that up for you.
It was lower than that. Daniel Brown, 272 in the world, 455 in the Data Golf rankings, which is quite a delta there.
I was gonna say, if we're gonna have an off the wall winner, like, let's get super weird. I feel like Dan Brown is sufficient for that.
Does Team Rose count as an off the wall winner? Wasn't even
I think if you won a major, I think you're disqualified if you've won a major before.
We didn't really talk about it yesterday. Team Rose has been so bad lately. I mean, he's just missing cuts by a mile. The only non-cut event he played, I think, was the Travelers. He finished like 68th out of 69 guys or something. Randomly finished T6 at the PGA. It's just like a super weird, just really weird year that Team Rose is having. But I'm kind of in. I know KVV is coming in a little bit. I know he's all in on the late career resurgence of Team Rose. So I might have to talk to him about that. Get a little juice going.
Well, I want to be in, but then we get little anecdotes where he's yipping at Sophie Walker, our friend doing radio, like blaming her. Cody can come in maybe with the full report, but he's sniping her for being too loud, and she's like, I'm 60 yards away from this guy. What's he talking about? So I just can't get there with Rose.
He seems like a big blame the help type of guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I Rose is very much like he's still kind of on the same level ish, in terms of what I appreciate about him or like about him or don't like about him, whatever that might be. But so many other people in his like peer group dropped so far that it's almost like he has risen up in the rankings of like, I can't find it near, I find it harder to just hate to dislike Rose just because so many other people have done a lot worse things in the last couple of years than he has. Right. Sure. And I do respect that he's stuck around on the main tours and is still fighting for stuff like this, went out and qualified for this, had the Ryder Cup moment, has had a little bit of a career resurgence and wins on the PGA Tour and could have easily taken the live money. So all that to say, I'm intrigued to have him involved this weekend.
He had a great quote post round, saying, I just feeling gratitude for being in this spot. He'd taken it for granted the last 15, 16 years. And it is nice to kind of hear him appreciating that new perspective. So I'm like a foot in both camp. I don't know. Maybe I'm firmly straddling right now with Team Rose.
We also haven't really talked about story of the day. Scottie Scheffler is kind of loitering, I would say, in a major way. So just putting that out there. I don't know that we're going to have any, Scotty's really good. He drives it great. He hits his irons good. He's really thoughtful. He plays to the right side of the greens. We've had this conversation 35 times already this year, but if there's anything else for anybody to add, please by all means.
Pretty much regurgitation. I can't decide if I'm feeling it for him to go out and win it, other than it definitely feels like he's going to be in the top 3. I just don't know if it feels like he has the gear this week to win it, because honestly, back to Lowry, not to twist this, but for those that didn't get to watch the action today, he drives it right. He has a great round going, but drives it right on 11, and he ends up in some heather, and he takes a long time to play this shot. He looks anxious about it. He's wondering if there's a train coming by. Like he just is just very uncomfortable. Steps up and hits it, and just I don't know what exactly happened. If the fescue grabbed the shaft and flipped the club head over, but it went directly into a gorse bush left of the 11th, and it was trouble. And he drops another one, hits it onto the green, but they found the ball in the bushes, and it took over 20 minutes before he hit his next shot in terms of finding out where he's going to drop it. Blah blah blah. Makes double bogey. And things could have fallen apart for him there, but he birdied 16 and birdied 18 to get in the house with 69, made a bomb putt on 18 to get in the house with a 69. And I mean, he basically played the equivalent of a round of 67 just with one bad swing. Like he's played really, really, really freaking good golf. It was a very impressive round. I was more impressed by today's score than I was the 66 yesterday, where, he just kind of, made a ton of putts because he just hit it so much better today. He was first in the field right now in strokes gained approach. I assume that's for today. I don't know if that's sorry, that's for the championship. So he was 5th in the field today in strokes gained approach. So just impressive shit.
Yeah, no, I was going to piggyback off that. I'm looking at the leaderboard and I'm like, damn, this is a really good tournament, because I assume Dan Brown's going to back up. I honestly assume Rose is going to back up. Like there's no way you can avoid bogeys and even doubles for 36 more holes, in my opinion. But I'm like, it's got to be Shane Lowry that backs up, and I just don't have confidence that he's really going to. I'm with you, Saul. I feel like Scotty's got to go hunt a little bit this weekend. I would not count on Shane giving too many back.
It has to mean something as we're sitting here on Friday. Like this dude went out and won one by a lot. Like he's done this 5 years ago. It's again, we said this last night, but it's not like this isn't, the Travelers where like Shane Lowry, might get overrun by a whole slew of guys that, just pin their ears back and go. Like this is a different style of golf, and he's done this before. And gosh, does it look like there's no part of like the test that Royal Troon presents that I would say like, oh, Shane, of that out there.
It's funny. We were having dinner outside the other night, and my neighbor was like taking the trash out and walks by, and we started talking about the Open, and he's like, oh, who do you like? And I'm like naming all these names, all of people who are packing their suitcase right now. And he's like, yeah, I mean, it's like probably Shane Lowry, right? I was like, oh, fuck. Why didn't damn it. Like, why didn't I think of that? Like, yeah, of course it's Shane Lowry. He's
It's
like, yeah,
so-
anyways, like, I think he's gonna win. And then he walks in his garage. I'm like, God, what am I doing? Idiot. So shout out to Patrick. He nailed that one. Yeah.
It's crazy though, looking at Shane Lowry's Open Championship performance. You know, he obviously has the win, but he's got 5 missed cuts in his last 8 starts in Open Championship. So I guess there is, you know, it's maybe not as like automatic as it feels. I don't know. It's very interesting for how like
It's
comfortable we all feel with him like playing this style, but yet his overall results don't quite tell that same story. So
It's one of those that's like very obvious when it goes that way, and also just like completely struggles in anonymity. Right,
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, when he misses the cut and he shoots 76, you're like, oh, okay, cool, don't need to talk about it. Yeah, but what about Rory? That's who we should be talking about. You know, he's kind of one of those guys. But Randy, I don't mean to blow up your spot, but I know you were kind of saying earlier, maybe Shane Lowry not totally your guy. I don't know. I'm still trying to kind of decide how I feel about watching him. Seems like he's going to be in our purview a lot this weekend. I think he kind of makes me happy when I see him on the broadcast, but I'm curious how you feel.
Yeah, he's in that weird spot for me where you hear how much people like him and how great of a guy he is, but yet he just doesn't quite do that for me. And granted, if I were Irish, I'm sure he'd be my favorite golfer. So I understand that's some of it, but yeah, he just doesn't move the needle for me per se. So I have a hard time like getting excited when he's in contention. But that's not a knock against him. I'm not saying I've never met the guy. I've never talked to the guy. I'm sure he is like an awesome hang. He just, there are a few golfers. I know we all have them too.
I was going to say like, who are the guys that move the needle for you?
Well, it's usually for reasons that are like maybe counterintuitive, but yeah, I don't know. When it's all like, oh my God, Shane Lowry, he's such a good guy. Like this guy is awesome. I'm just like, okay. So yeah, I don't know. I'm struggling with that one a little bit, Deej, as well. Like I really hope this isn't a runaway this weekend. I don't think
there's some horses.
I don't think it will be. Yeah, but it would be tough if it was for me.
It's gonna. I mean, even if it gets up by a lot, it's not like it's turned the TV off. It's over. Like I don't feel like we're in for a Brian Harmon one from last year because there's just too much out there. There wasn't a ton out there at Liverpool last year where you could trip up. And if you watch any of it today, like dude, there's Gorse, there's just so much shit that can go very wrong very quickly. So, other names at the top there, Billy Horschel tied for 4th. He famously, I think he shot 3 under here back in 2016 in round 1, 4 under. 67, and then shot 85 in round 2 to miss the cut. Was on the bad side of the draw. That one, he was in the thick of it of that Friday afternoon weather that hit in 2016 . But
did he get hit by the train? What did he do?
He had a backwards hat. He was trying to grow the game out there at one point with how much the rain was going on. We shout out to Twitter for really taking the Nikolai Højgaard joke well today with the backwards hat that he had on. Porter got a lot of bites on his today too. So. But Billy Horschel sitting there T4 did not have that one, tied with Dean Burmester and Scottie Scheffler. I don't know if I'm taking Billy from this point going forward with the other names that are up there, but did not have that one. I didn't hear many people talking about Billy coming into this week.
No, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's kind of one of those like, okay, after everything becomes clear to me after the fact, Neil's famous quote, but it's he's a flusher, drives it good. Like, okay, you can talk me into that making sense. I don't know if he'll be there.
None
all
of this
4
tournament
days,
makes sense, really. Like, come on,
right? Yeah, I don't know. It's
we're gonna go.
I don't think he'll be there all 4 days, but he's kind of another one of those guys that, like, if he was, I'd be fascinated to see how he handled it. He's been a guy that's just been in our lives for a really long time, and I feel like the one time, I always pictured him as like, oh man, Billy Horschel, like that's the guy, massive pressure player. Like get him on all these teams, and he made that President's Cup team, and he just really sucked. And so I would love to see another like big stage Horschel moment just to see how it goes.
I was gonna say, would love to see Billy under the gun Sunday trying to win a major, like super twitchy. That would be great theater.
Billy up in contention the major, and Rory trying to do baton flips coming up the 16th fairway and hitting himself in the face was interesting. interesting change of pace there. Listen, it's another major, which means we get to see a lot of coverage of the range and practice rounds, and of course saw Foresight Sports GC quads and quad maxes everywhere. For those of you who tuned into our latest film room episode that launched this week, you saw me and Tron toting one around during our match at Royal Troon. Listen, I know this kind of golf is like the launch monitor style of golf, but it doesn't mean you can't learn some things out there. I really wanted to take it out there to, see what like links wind is actually doing to a ball. Of course, I learned the lesson the hard way that it wasn't hurting nearly as bad as I thought on the 7th green when I hit 8-iron from 125, and it thought I was hitting a 155 shot, hit a 165 shot, and it went like 15 yards over the green. So I got the launch wrong. I got the wind wrong a little bit, but that was good to just put some data in there to say like, all right, when, the wind's blowing like this, if I hit a 150 shot and it's only flying, blah, 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 it's just a good way to kind of measure the wind. I thought it was very interesting, and figuring out how it spins in the wind and all that stuff it's a fun tool.
That's what I was gonna say. It's all spin, man. That when you play and win like this, it's figuring out how to control your spin. Is it going to get up and balloon? Is it going to carry farther? Is it going to fall out of the sky? So I know you've been all over the spin game lately, trying to figure that out with your clubs.
Trying to get my driver spin up a little bit. That's why I'm watching for it to be in that 2200 to 2600 range with the new Titleist driver. So it's been great. Foresight also just added Royal Troon, or they have Royal Troon, I should say, in their simulator course library. They got the whole details. They got the train tracks, the beach, the water, everything. So right now you can go to foresightsports.com/no-laying-up. Use promo code NLU at checkout. You get 10% off a GC3 bundle or a GC quad. Offer valid for U.S. customers now through Monday, May 27th, 8 a.m. Pacific. That does not sound right. I'm guessing that's July 27th, 8 a.m. Pacific. That's foresightsports.com/no-laying-up. Promo code NLU at checkout for 10% off a GC3 bundle or a GC quad. I got a lot of questions in there, a couple questions when I put out a call for them of, what is the weather there? Like I see people in t-shirts, eating ice cream. I see people like in hoodies and all this. And I'm even more confused as to what the weather is, because calling in live from the media center is our guy, Kevin Van Valkenburg. He's all bundled up in his beanie. Hello, Kevin. How was your day out there?
Guys, I had a delightful day. I had a few beers. I sat at the Postage Stamp for much of the day. I watched some of the greatest golfers in the world get absolutely tormented. I had some more beers. It was they're all going on the company expense account. Just figured why not?
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Rock on.
Where did you post up today? What did you see? What was your kind of experience out there like today?
So I think you're technically not supposed to do this, but I sort of sat up on the hill right over the Postage Stamp and just watched much of the day. And it was so fun to watch, especially as that wind really started whipping off the left. It was so fun to watch those guys try to hit these little half draw wedges to hold against that wind and just watch them get blown out to sea. I mean, Joaquin Niemann was the big sort of one, ended up making an 8, going bunker to bunker to bunker. And then Tom Kim did the same thing a little bit later, although he didn't, he ended up sort of saving double. It's just such a great hole. You just see these guys and they're so nervous to hit that shot. It's just in their head so much. And, it's so rare to see like a hole that is really puts stress on people for being so short. And I loved it. It was a great way to spend a day.
A lot of comments about your hat, KVV. When you were in the little thumbnail before you came in, it almost looked like one of those. Remember in like the very early 2000s when those like big cat in the hat hats were like very famous at like trashy carnivals and stuff. I didn't know if it was one of those. So I didn't know how many beers you had out of the postage stamp. Which
how dare you, Cody? You put that graphic up. You ought to know. Come on the damn screen. You ought to know where this hat is from. And if you don't, I'm going to be so disappointed.
Jamaica?
No,
I know. I recognize it. But listen, there's not a lot of people out there, especially the audio listeners, that are going to recognize the hat that you're wearing right now.
This is a Glacier Park Pendleton hat. Glacier Park puts out these sweet. They used to have really cool head covers with like these. I would pay so much money if someone out there has a head cover like this. I know some people make them, but Seamus Golf used to make them. Super fucking cool. They're no longer available before I could get one, but. Yeah, I got a lot of compliments on the hat today, and also a lot of weird looks. So,
Kev, what was it? What was the variety of shots at the Postage Stamp today? Was everybody kind of trying to hit the same shot, or were some guys coming in high, some guys coming in low? What was the variety?
So most people were trying to hit like a little draw, that like a mid trajectory draw, but some of the smart ones, Tommy Fleetwood was one of these hitting these like, all right, I'm just going to hit the front, like not even the front number. but like 5-10 yards short of the green and have it sort of kick forward. And that was awesome to see. Rory, we were sort of talking in our chat. Tron was like, "Oh, this is going to be appointment viewing." He hit it so high in there, higher than any ball I saw today. And I was like, that is so effed.
What?
And yet it's somehow like kind of, it was left of the pin. I mean, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so sick. He's in the coffin bunker. This is awesome. And like, it was the one shot that he actually like judged the wind well today. And it sort of held up and then, went 20 feet behind the pin and stayed there. So, I mean, it's just cool to see. Lucas Glover hit the best shot I saw hit all day. I mean, he hit this thick flighted wedge that one hopped and almost went in and stopped 2 feet away. That was by far the way. But all these Scots were around there being like, "Oh, no one can hit a green in this wind. They're screwed." And yet, like, there's a bunch of dudes who actually knew how to play the shot. It was fun to see him play proper golf.
It was. I literally, I thought about this today and reached out to get an answer on this question. But I was like, man, because you watch the same shot on repeat and you watch guys miss it. There's start at 5 feet left of the pin, and you're like, that's toast. That's going too far right. Like, that's toast. Every single ball that is an inch right of that pin was running off to the green. And as a viewer, you watch a bunch of them, and you're like, oh, of course not. Of course, like, why don't these guys learn that? And you're like, oh wait, no, they haven't been sitting here watching all these shots all day. I was literally like, why don't? It seems like something players should do is have scouts out there on their team, like out, like scouting the rest of the course and passing back advice. Found out that's not legal, which I was not surprised to find out that was not legal, but it was just interesting it'd be an interesting wrinkle if you could like figure out a way. Obviously guys watch on television and stuff to get some hints, but it was just wow to watch the same guys make the same mistake over and over and over again and underestimate the wind. They talked about how when you're on the tee, you can't feel the wind nearly as much, but even the best players in the world not being able to adjust to that was just wild to watch today.
It feels instead of rolling the ball back, they should have Zach Johnson on all the par threes, just giving guys missing pitches, making them super unconfident about what club they're about to hit.
Well, I mean, you trust your gut. You hit whatever you want. It's great. I mean,
I don't think that's getting there, but I think you do whatever you want to do.
I want to read your Rom's quote just because I asked John specifically about the hole, and he was like, "Oh my God, so difficult." I'm not going to do the Rom voice, but like he said, it's
no, that's 90% of what we want to hear. We want to hear the answer.
People keep telling me if I do the Rom voice, I'm going to be canceled, and I'm just not going to let him win. I'm not going to do that. He said, "I think it's a testament to what a great design hole it is." It was 115, 120 yards today. We're all very thankful if we hit the green and we just leave with par. That coffin on the left, it makes its presence felt. And with the wind today, you have to start it left, but it's just very difficult to do. In my case, I tried to hold a pitching wedge and drive it towards that bunker. And the second it got past the grandstands, I was like, yep, that has no chance, which I thought was like a really cool way to sort of hear him describe, like, let me just flight down something and hold it up against this wind and nope, it's fucked. So,
which I think there's a little, I don't know, not to be the fun police on all the architecture takes from players, but like you also just can't drop that hole in like Ohio because it doesn't blow that way. The conditions don't work the same way. You need public golf to like still be able to go play it every day. There's just a lot of like other elements where guys are like, why are we stretching these holes back? Like we really should only be having 110-yard par threes. It's like, well, that's not exactly it either. Like, because we saw it even at like LACC, right? It was like the best example where they tried to do that with 15 and guys just like tore it the fuck up. And it's like, yeah, it just does. It's not like a magic bullet. Just like making it really short is the answer. It's like you still need all the conditions and the topography and all of the
truth too, D, just like it played really benign for the first part of the day. Like it was only the 15th like ranked hole today in terms of, so it's pretty easy. It had a lot more pars today. There wasn't nearly as many doubles. There was 18 doubles on Thursday and only 5 today. So but there was a stretch in the middle for about where the wind was absolutely bucking, and that was when it made it fun. And you're right, but so some of the guys got sort of a tough hand there, and some of them got basically an easy like, hey, just hit it to the front of the green and walk away.
Which I do, to your point though, Deej, I think there's like principles of holes like this that can be copied more heavily than they are in terms of the slope and how it feeds off to the part below the green on the right and that coffin bunker, if you go in long left and all that stuff, it won't play the exact same, but there's stuff that can be taken from this that is a lot of, I feel like a lot of par threes in the US are just lazy. They're just like, here's the green, here's bunkers if you miss wide off the mark, but like there's nothing really like nothing baiting here of really good, like a shot here is going to be birdie, and if you miss the spot, it's going to be bogey. Like that's kind of where I think a lot of the thrill of golf comes from.
I will say too, the other thing that Rom said that was kind of cool is he described like if you miss it right, you have a little bit of a backstop there that you can hit it up, and that's what he and McIntyre did. It'll roll back towards. But like Tom Kim tried to do that and just boned it right in the coffin bunker and had to go out absolutely backwards. So like I like that there's that element of it too. It's like, all right, well, there is a chance for you to recover if you miss, but if you take on too much, you're screwed.
Randy, any comment?
Hey, heat that for my guy. We were close. We were close.
Phil hit an awesome shot out of that front right bunker today. He was like, could barely get into because being a lefty, he could barely get into that corner of it, and like he was struggling with the stance, and he had the club like almost like heel up, toe down to try to get it, swiped it up there, hit off the backstop, and came running back to the hole, missed like the 4-footer. But it was like very, very Phil that golf shot. But
sounds like Phil's whole career right there.
Yeah. Anybody else interesting you talked to after the round or chat with?
Yeah, talked to Rory a little bit. I think a little bit of moment of self-reflection. He said, I really just couldn't handle the wind. And if I look back and there were 2 rounds or the 2 majors where I just really was non-competitive, it was all because of the wind. Like the wind at Augusta, got me really good on Friday and got me here. And I need to figure out whether, I need to change some things to think about that. And I don't know, at age 37 or whatever, like if that's an actual realization that he's going to go through and like maybe try to figure out different ways to work the ball around in the wind. But that was kind of where he was after the round. So
I was questioning my own age there. Roy's 35, just for the record.
God damn it.
For the listener's sake. I was like, am I 40? Yeah.
Oldest.
It's just
taste it, Randy.
That's really
that's when he'll figure it out, is when he's 37.
Well, that's unlucky for Rory though, because like that you formulate a game plan going into an open, and like wind, of course, would never factor into that game plan at all. Like that just comes out of nowhere. There's no way to prepare for anything like that or to expect that coming in.
Unlucky.
I mean, he hit some shocking golf shots today, like absolutely shocking golf shots. The one into the 6th green to the 6th. I don't know if you saw any of that from where you were, Kevin, up on the hill.
I didn't. Only saw your replay of it where you showed. I mean, it was 50 yards left, or maybe 60, 70 yards left of where he was aiming.
A wedge. He had a wedge in to the 6th green, and he hit this thing. I think I forget what the total distance was he had in for his next one, but I think it was like 43 yards. It was like left of the graphic is, I believe, on our way up to the screen right now. Like it's almost like you couldn't hit a ball up there if you tried, much less one of the top 3 golfers in the world. It just was totally shocking. And just, I mean, we've been kind of ragging on Rory for the whole wedge thing and ball flight thing and all this, to be like, Phil figured this out, man. Like Phil was this guy that hit the high shots and figured out how to do the Open Championships. And I know Rory's won one of these, but I just can't believe we're into mid-30s with Rory's career and we're still talking about not being able to manage ball flights and wins. And like, it's not one of us out there getting blown out to sea. It's one of the best players in the world. It's just kind of, maybe his answer on that.
I can relate to it so much. Because that is exactly how I feel over some of these shots where I'm just like, all right, cool. Got it. It's a little bit of an uneven lie. Probably going to want to go left a little bit. I got to make sure I make something. Fuck, I forgot about the wind. Oh, that's 30 yards short. I forgot to measure the wind. Shit.
And maybe Deej, he had the wind coming more this way.
He needs a wind guy. Like maybe he needs to ask Bryson to borrow a wind guy just to sort of walk around with him in practice rounds.
The beauty of links golf, dude, is like that. I don't know what he hit there, but like you can hit a 9-iron. You can punch up a 9-iron and like get rid of a lot of the margin for error on a lot of these shots. And it just is wild to his shot into 2 today, a wedge in again. I was joking with you guys. Was he trying to hit it like over the wind? Like that's the only explanation, because it went as high as you'll ever see a wedge shot go, dead into the wind. Like what were you expecting out of this? I'm just as somebody that's rooting for this dude, I just am flabbergasted by getting blown out to sea by the wind when obviously other capable players are handling it quite well.
I wonder, this is, I would like to hear somebody much, much smarter than me talk about this, but obviously other players figured out, so this is not a pass at all. But I wonder if as his career has gone on, flighting the ball down has gotten not like, it's a different skill set with this technology. I feel like the better technology gets, I feel like the easier it is to like just launch it high no matter what, like almost at all costs. And I wonder if it is just like a little tiny bit different and he just hasn't adjusted Maybe again, other players have, and he needs to figure it out. Not an excuse, but I'm trying to make it make sense in my head and looking for anything that can make it kind of track somewhat.
I don't know.
Huber blew my mind on this, and I should know this as well. But like when he was caddying for me, when I'm trying to punch one under the trees or keep it above, below branches, he was like, the height is all going to come from speed, right? So like the more speed, the harder you hit this 4-iron, the more up it's likely to go. So like you might be trying to get this way down there, but you'd be surprised. Like, the slower you go through the zone on this, the lower it's going to fly and run, and it's going to be great. Like that's what it seems like. Does it seem like Rory's throwing off speed on any of these shots? No. Does it seem like he's trying to hit 15,000 RPMs on every single one of these shots? Yeah, it does. And I'm like, that's the part that you don't have to hit the lowest lofted club to get it back there. It just seems like a day one lesson. I don't know. I should not be armchair quarterbacking. But I don't feel like I'm wrong on this. Like, somebody please tell me I'm wrong here. It just feels very weird to armchair somebody of Rory's talent, but just like, I just don't get it.
I blame Perry.
I don't know. I think I'm kind of
credit for those birdies coming in, Rory.
I'm exhausted by it's like analyzing Rory, and so even afterwards, I was like, "Can we talk about Shane for like Shane's game really well? Why is Shane sort of suited to win a second one?" And it was interesting to hear him be like, "Oh, Shane's got that squeezy cut that's going to help him when the wind is here, and he's so creative, not only like around the greens, but just in the way that he shapes shots." And I was almost like, man, like, listen to yourself.
Yes.
You could be, your best friend on tour is like one of the most creative thinkers out there. And what if you just spent, a couple weeks with him being like, all right, can you kind of talk me through like how you hit certain shots? And I don't know, maybe that future is there for him, but maybe that revelation is never coming.
Do you have any other? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, how would you grade Rory's major year? I mean, it feels weird that it's over, but
yeah, I think I'd give it a B minus. I would say maybe a B. I think a B is fair. He came so close to winning a really hard one. That the Valhalla one, obviously stuff going on in his personal life maybe made that a mess, but Augusta's always just going to be sort of the bugaboo in his head. I think it's hard to, one shot away, literally like a solo second. He's the only person though who's like major drought is measured in years as opposed to like, oh, it's been 6 majors or 10 majors since it won one. We're up to 40 majors now, whatever it is. I don't know exactly. Maybe I think it's 39. That's a long time, and I just I don't know. I think we've talked about it to death in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I got one more thing I want to share with you though.
Please.
Like the story that I heard this week. So my guy Gary Player was here this week. And he played Prestwick. I think this was on Tuesday or Wednesday. After the round, there was a dinner that Gary was sort of attending. Don't know if he invited himself or not, but he invited himself to stand up and make a speech. I heard this from a source who said
that's a power move, by the way.
Was there in the room. So he gave like a 15-minute speech in which one of the lines was, golf can defeat WMDs if you let it. I just want you to know that Gary is out there doing his best to save the world through WMDs.
Somebody has a recording of this speech, and I want the whole thing if that's the case.
I truly hope so. But yes,
That's
so
fantastic.
That is my on-the-ground report from here. I don't think I can top that.
I don't think you can either. We're going to let you go. Thank you, Kev, for calling in and enjoying. Thank you for enjoying the beers up at the Postage Stamp today. This was fantastic. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Go get back to your bongo circle.
Will do.
I want to give a shout out to our friends at Mizuho. They're part of the Mizuho Financial Group, the 15th largest bank in the world. Mizuho America is a corporate and investment bank serving corporate and institutional clients. They advise and fund businesses looking to go public, raise money, expand operations, or connect with large investors. They also have finance large infrastructure projects that promote civic improvement. You may not know the name Mizuho. You likely know many of the name brand companies. Hopefully people know the name by now. We're shouting them out on the reg out here. So they're also heavily involved in golf, LPGA golf. They, of course, host the Mizuho America's Open at Liberty National. They support our LPGA content, obviously our Open Championship content as well. So big shout out to Mizuho. For more information, visit MizuhoAmericas.com. That is, again, MizuhoAmericas.com. We're going to do some coping here in a minute, but I do want to give a couple performances to shout out. Joaquin Niemann, as previously mentioned, made an 8 on the 8th hole today. Battled back with birdies on 10, 12, 14, 15, and 15. Shot 31 on the back. Shot 71 today with an 8. And has played himself into contention. He's an even par, T11 as we go into the weekend on the bad side of the draw. So
talk about a guy, Randy, you just don't know what you're going to get.
Well, in majors, we knew we weren't going to get anything good. I was getting ready to say I love seeing this from Joaquin. It's long past time he puts himself at least in a conversation on the weekend in a major. So hopefully he can keep up the ball striking and avoid the quintuples this weekend.
Never a top 10 in a major. Is that true?
No.
That's
Jesus,
crazy.
really?
Not really even close.
No.
And his worst has been
last year at the
Open.
Masters. Yeah.
He's been so bad in opens, and you figure with the ball flight and keeping it low, he'd be well suited. So
without answering as quickly as possible and without looking, how old is Joaquin Niemann?
24.
I looked this up earlier. Right? He's 25.
He's 25. That is crazy. It feels like he's 30 by now. But I would still was kind of throwing little jabs in there about not getting into the majors in his post-round interview, which was very, of course, very eye roll as he sits T11 and one that he qualified for at the Australian Open earlier this year. But I hope he plays well. This was a dude that has really dropped off since going to live, and I've not gotten any. The golf world suffers when these guys that have gone over to live have watched their careers kind of go downhill a little bit, and I hope he continues good play. Speaking of which, John Ram shot a 1 under par round today, again on the tougher side of the draw, made back-to-back birdies on the 14th and 15th holes, then stepped up and drove into the burn on 16 and made bogey, drove on 404 yards, I think, on 18 into a little cross pot bunker, which was sick, but hit a great shot in there to 18, had a good look at birdie to get it to back to even par heading into the weekend, but he's sitting there at 1. I don't like where we're at with Rahm, where I'm shouting him out being T13 at a major going into the weekend, but that's a step up from what we've seen from Rahm this year, and it is good to see.
Here, as well as Dustin Johnson. It's another guy that I would have, you could have told me he missed the cut. You could have told me he was, wherever, and he's just a guy that's been a little out of sight, out of mind, and showed up and is playing really good golf. 2 under today.
I don't know if I've seen him hit a shot. I've watched like all of the golf to this point.
Yeah, that's
a couple naps. Couple naps have been thrown
shadow
in there.
pond situation going on.
Yeah. Jason Day up there in the top 5. Xander quietly up there in the top 5.
I think today was Xander's off day. He didn't have it early. He was gotten a little tripped up on that front 9 with a couple of those iron shots. I don't know that that's going to continue. I think he's going to. I'm going to keep buyback programs, Randy. I'll take more Xander stock if you'll give it to me.
Yeah,
sure.
Well, my guy Colin right there also at 1 over.
Right there, tied with Brooks. Cantley's in there at 1 under par. Like he's not been.
I was
going to
say if you start at 2 under, it's a sneaky, like really good leaderboard.
So let's do this now then. How far back is too far back? Shane's leading at -7. Brown and Rose at -5. Nobody else better than -2. So -2 is 5 back, but in a tie for 4th. How far back is too far?
Does anybody have a good forecast for tomorrow? I feel like that's going to influence my answer. I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
I feel like people have said kind of more of the same. I know Shane in his post round said, a single digit under par winner is like, that wouldn't shock him at all. He seemed to have the mentality of just like, man, I kind of need to keep it where I'm at here rather than go shoot 66, 66 or something.
Again, Randy, I'm just using the broke-ass iPhone app, but it's looking like rain coming. I don't know at what level, but some rain possibilities starting around 2:30 tomorrow and much less wind tomorrow. So kind of more in the single-digit winds with gusts in the low teens. And then, some rain basically all throughout the afternoon and evening starting around 2:30. So just a wetter day. I don't know. Doesn't look like it's necessarily dumping. Is 0.15 inches a lot of rain? I don't think that's a lot of rain.
No.
So just kind of sprinkling with not a ton of wind for tomorrow afternoon.
I feel like that brings some guys in. I'll say 2 over is too far back. I still like the group at 1 over.
I'll join.
I'll go even just for the sake of conversation.
I don't see anybody at +2. If there was like if Koepka or Colin or somebody like that was at +2, I would say +2. but I don't see anybody at plus
Johnson
2.
Ward.
Wow, direct shot at Alex
Lloyd-Gard.
Noren.
For sure. I mean,
Russell
we shot plus
Henley.
4 today. We're not about that. He's already on summer vacation to Visby.
Your boy Sepp Straka.
He was not a subtle dog today. What do you want me to say?
It's true.
No, I agree with that. It's more the strength of the names at plus 1 are what give me a little bit more confidence there.
You guys want to do any more coping we want to do? Anybody else we want to kind of big shout out to Max for throwing some birdies down the stretch and letting out the tribal roar there on
winner picks
on 18. We should do some apologies on the winner picks.
That's unbelievable. That might
That's
not ever
hard
happen
to do.
again in the history of like in major championship golf. I mean, all of us picks to win missing the cut. That's rare. When I was in Vegas,
I mean, nobody's sniffing it either.
I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago. I did a 5-team baseball parlay. Like if all these teams win, I got all 5 of them wrong, which is like very similar to this. It's it's unbelievable. It's impossible to do again.
I have no regrets on picking Rory. I really don't. Of course I regret it.
I kind of regret a little bit. I was telling you guys voting for the leopards eating people's faces party there with Tommy Fleetwood, picking him to win. I don't know. What are you gonna say? I feel like I kind of nailed the Ludwig thing at least. I seem to be leading, kind of a runaway victory in that category. But yeah, I don't know what I was thinking with Tommy.
A lot of people asking about the status of the open tab, the bar. It's not really a block party, but we did rent out a section of a bar. We had a tab, but we did not meet our minimum. They are sending me home with 4 crates of wine. Basically, I had to buy a bunch of wine off of them to reach the minimum, and so we'll be taking that home and kind of going through that over the next couple of years as we debrief.
Maybe they do a little employee party this weekend or something. Bring the employees a little employee appropriation. We got the rooms open. Saturday, Sunday. So maybe bring your families. BYOB type of situation. Just come through.
I was going off pure like nothing makes sense here. Rory has to bounce back from this one. Randy, you tried to talk me off it before we started, and I didn't follow it. So
I tried to get cute with Tom Kim. Listen, was that necessary? No, it wasn't necessary. Probably learned my lesson there.
I don't know whether we're coping here with JT shot 45 on the front 9 today, and then
unlucky.
Flipped around and made 3 birdies on the back, shot 2 under on the back 9 to comfortably make the cut, stunting on all the haters out there. But was not handling the front 9 win very well, but did battle back to at least make it to the weekend, which it looked like people were very much dancing on the grave very soon that he was going to miss the cut. But at least battle back, and him and Bob McIntyre had some very, very, very bad front 9s, but at least made it through to the weekend.
Sure. I don't know that he's going to see it that way, but I think
bad side of the draw yet again.
Yeah, God, that was brutal, man. That's tough. I said a lot of things about JT. I didn't say he was going to go run away and like hide and just win this thing by 1 million. I said it would have been fun to watch him in contention. So I'll just correct the record on that. But I hate to. I mean, all right, I put together a little thing here for you guys. We're just going to go through the last 2 years of majors. I'm going to tell you what he shot in round 1, and you guys have to predict what he shot in round 2.
Oh God.
Okay. We're going to start with the 2023 Masters. He opens with a 70, 2 under at Augusta National.
2023 Masters, you said?
2023 Masters.
77.
78. He misses the cut. He 2023 PGA, he opens with 72.
Lower.
73.
73.
Goes and finishes T65. Yeah, we could play a little higher or lower rating. 2023 US Open starts with a 73. Always good at US Open. 73.
80.
Yeah, you'll take
81.
81. Exactly right. Hangs up a Tim Brown like your boy Big Tone today. MC. 2023 Open Championship. He opens with an 82. I think we know
lower.
Hammer that 71, I think, or something.
Hammer that lower. He shot 71 and missed the cut. 2024 Masters opens with an even par 72.
76.
Yeah, I will say even higher. 78.
79 misses the
cut.
My God. 2024 PGA Championship opens with a 69.
Yeah, he went way high again, didn't he?
74.
76.
Under 67. He finished T8. How quickly we forget.
I don't-
2024 U.S. Open. He opens with a 77 at Pinehurst, number 2.
Lower.
Yeah, he shot 74 on day 2.
74 on day 2. Misses the cut.
God.
And this week, of course, 68, 78, T38, I believe. At least when I wrote this down. I don't know where.
It's pretty sick too. Chasing what was he in the Scottish Open? 62 something.
Like 62, 74 or something like that.
Yeah. A couple good weeks in Scotland.
Yeah, just so I don't know, man. I guess what you take away from that is I don't know what you take away from that sort of situation with JT.
It's what we've been saying. It does not last 72 holes with him. It, as you're pointing out, does not last 36 holes with him. He was, again, that image that Cody put up there. He was it 83 yards short on the 5th green today, the par 3 into the wind.
Yeah,
I mean, he clearly like ballooned. I assume it to be a 5-wood. The apex at 121 feet, but it was like 80 yards short. It went 131 yards off the tee on a 215-yard hole.
God, that's another one I just feel so deeply in my Scottish golf experience. These guys aren't supposed to be doing, man. We're not supposed to be, we're not supposed to be seeing those shots.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what to make of it other than it's better than last year at least. But Tommy Fleetwood, we're coping with that one as well. He will not be around for the weekend. He shot 75 today, finished at +9, right there alongside Ludwig and Bryson.
It's unbelievable how much we talk about a guy that's never won on the PGA Tour. I love it.
You guys heard me.
Can we just state that?
Right?
I feel like every time we talk about Tommy, we just need a disclaimer.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, you guys heard me apologize. I'm not gonna wear this one forever. We're gonna flush it. Bad decision by me, and I'm gonna do better in the future. One guy I want to ask you guys about, and Randy, I'm particularly curious to see which side of the line you're gonna fall on here. Sahith Theegala, +14, T143. Guy plays really bad golf at times, guys, and I'm not gonna say he stinks, but. Another one of those guys that I'm just like, I always make the joke with you guys, like all my favorite players just seem to stink. Possibly never more true than right now. Sahith is one of my favorite players, and I see rounds and weeks like this where I'm just like, man, what am I doing? Who are these guys that I'm getting behind? My heart's winning the day, not my head. And I feel like my head has seen some very, very bad golf from Sahith. And I need you guys to stay for the record here where you kind of fall out on this. Is this some sort of white squall event here, Solly? Because it seems like it went down pretty comfortably. Is a little bit how it feels right now.
I'm never going to argue for Sahith's consistency. He's just fun. He's fun, and I will root for him. He's accomplished a lot. He's won. He's my favorite, probably my favorite golfer to watch in contention. I love the dude. I will not argue for the consistency, and it's definitely not been there in majors. It's unfortunate. He's missed the cut of the last 2 Open championships. He T12 at the PGA this year, but that was a PGA Tour setup. But yeah, he's gotten exposed a fair amount on the bigger boy setups. But I'll continue to ride for my boy. I'm like you, abandoning him here at this moment. He is my guy. He's my guy, and I will never leave him
unless he turns into Speed or Rory or any of your other guys.
Yeah,
in which case we'll fall back on the data.
No,
we'll wait to hear what Data Golf tells us to think of this.
Wait, I'm just getting word that Data Golf's telling me I should abandon Sahith, but I will not. The eye test and my heart test says I love that guy. I would lay down my life for his.
I like him. Yeah, he just doesn't seem like a serious threat in majors. We got to do something about the consistency.
Fair classification. He's an unserious golfer to begin with. I mean, he's just a thrill ride, but he is an unserious golfer.
Well, the guy I was going to bring up while we're here is Victor Hovland. Weird major season, 3 missed cuts and a solo third, which could have been a playoff at the PGA.
Doesn't count.
Just I don't know.
The betting
disappointing.
I'm
looking for some coping.
The betting houses have to have cleaned up on Hovland after his fall last year. There had to be some outrageous future majors bets on him. Yeah, that is not what I saw coming big.
And the victory lap after Valhalla too, it was he solved it all. He's back with Joe Mayo. It's all solved. It was that was an incredible week. He played great, but that was clearly a very, very, very different golf course than what normal major championships are going to be like. And yeah, missed cuts and all the other ones make a lot more sense. He's just got a long ways to go, man. I mean, again, reading KVV's piece is like, does that seem like somebody that can like flip the switch back to their old golf swing and be that guy immediately? Like I'm still worried about his path. I really am.
Yeah.
I
So
think it's fair.
Ugh.
It stinks that
Ludwig-
Bryson missed the cut.
I know,
Off
it
his
sucks.
like him, don't like him. I don't care, but it'd be more fun if the U.S. Open champ were still playing well and involved this week.
It wasn't a fun meltdown, like that. There
Right.
is a fun Bryson playing bad, like entertainment viewing at some point, but that was not this. It was just like, dude, I'd rather him be around for the weekend for sure.
And
Yeah.
Ludwig as well is the
Yeah.
other big one we haven't mentioned yet.
I'd say Ludwig has elevated his game to the point where it deserves a mention and some scrutiny for when he does miss the cut. Right? I know it's his first Open Championship, his first go around the majors, but it would be disrespectful to him to not call him out during the coping section of this. So
Couldn't say it any better for your guy Big Tone shooting 81. What an unbecoming number for such a world-class player.
did you hear what happened? Or I don't know if this was last. I saw this video floating around, but I don't know if it was last night or the night before. They jet lagged. They were up at 2:45, ordered room service, ordered pizza into the room. I think his wife posted on Instagram or whatever, but I don't know if that was last night or not. But traveling that big Netflix nailed this. Can he win with the family?
That's what everybody's asking. God,
everyone is
again.
Everyone's asking that question. I'm worried about it, but
I wonder, my armchair analysis with Ludwig would just be, he's got to be tired. This last 12, 14 months has been so much. And I know the knee's going to get cleaned up at the, I cut him. I don't know. I hate cutting anybody's slack, but I feel like there are some things with Ludwig that,
For sure.
you could tell me it's playing a factor.
Yeah, it's fair. I wish he was around playing as well. So,
It's just a weird sport too. Like I was thinking about a couple of things, like watching the Wimbledon final, but it's just so weird that watching something like tennis, which I parachute into for 2 hours a year, is just like, man, how do they just seem to nail? Like it's just always the big dogs, just the higher seed just always wins, and it's really funny to have a major where it's just like all these guys going home after 36 holes. It's like, what a great / terrible sport.
Yeah. I know.
Well, I see people advocating for they should bring qualifying back for this. Like everybody should travel over there and still have to qualify. It's like,
Totally.
explain that. Please explain that to me. Like Rahm has to earn
Rose
his.
fucking did
it. Yeah, this tournament would be better off if Rahm went out and shot 76 at the qualifier and didn't make it in.
That is a take that if somebody put a ballot in front of me, like I would vote for. I want to be clear. That is a sick idea, and I would vote for it. But I don't think we got to pick our spots in these committees, Randy. And I don't think that just doesn't have the public support to get behind.
I got some weird ideas. I don't know if we're quite there yet, or we can get to them later in the show. Do we know? Do we have official data on what the scoring disparity is between the waves, Solly? I'm putting you on the spot here.
I can get that for you quite quickly. Actually, it for round 2, it ended at 1.9 shots harder in the afternoon wave. And there's kind of how it works at the Open is there's not like two waves. Like it's just everybody goes off the first tee, and it's just that's kind of a rough generalization of like front half and back half and all that. There's all these like internal little waves basically within there, which it was pretty obvious who was in like the worst of it at the worst spot on the golf course. But later in the day, you teed off, you averaged 4.3 shots over par, and earlier in the day was 2.4 shots over par. That's courtesy of Data Golf as well. Yesterday's split was within 0.1 shots, so it was incredibly close. And today was much, much more dramatic. So,
okay,
some questions we got. Pot of Coffee says, whose play most resembled IT services getting back online after an outage? I wish I'd squeezed this one in earlier. Max and McIntyre.
Joaquin?
Big shot Bob.
Big Shot Bob. Yeah.
I mean, that was a recency bias for me.
He was toast. He drove it into the right fescue on, I believe, the 6th hole.
He was 8 over through 4.
4th hole, was it? Yeah, 4th hole. No sprinkler heads in the fescue, and it dramatically affected the way he played the rest of that hole. Been crazy if that would have happened last week. It may have defined the outcome of the event last week, but there's no sprinkler heads in the fescue at Royal Troon. And yeah, he was making a complete mess of it, but made 5 birdies coming in to finish at, what's he at? My screen is too small.
He's +5.
He's
Yeah.
+5.
T54.
So credit to him.
Huge credit.
Danny D3493. How much more different would the OWGR be if at least half of PGA Tour setups and courses were eliminated and changed to this sort of through the bags skills setup? Feels like a lot of ball speed imposters are getting exposed. Hashtag thrilling. Hashtag aspirational. This might have been from Tron Carter NLU. The more I actually read that, it's all the hashtag.
No, it would have been a hashtag blow pig on there if it was from
Yeah.
Tron.
I can think of him specifically, but I'm curious what other ball speed imposters got exposed. I mean, Rory maybe, but I don't know. Like beyond that, I'm like, I don't know that any. Like, I think Ludwig's like good. I think Victor Hovland's good. I think Bryson's good. I don't know if it was really like guys getting exposed. I think they just didn't play good.
I think the question is just kind of like, we view like somebody like Brian Harmon through a particular window, and it's kind of an upset when he wins a major. Yet if half the golf courses looked like this setup, golf as a whole would look a lot different. It's the driving distance skill is so heavily emphasized on PGA Tour courses that it becomes the guys that become stars because they win more on that tour. And a lot of the majors are driving distance importance, and so those guys end up winning a lot of the majors as well. And it just, if a lot more golf looked like this, it would be more parity in it. I'm not like positive that's the greatest thing in the world for the star power entertainment part of the game. It'd be better for like the golf, like nuance appreciators, I think. But I think golf as a marketing vehicle trends in a very different direction than that. It's a complicated answer to say. I think it would look quite different. I think guys like the Kevin Kisners, I mean, not his current phase of golf, but like say 5 years ago, would have very different careers if the golf looked more like this and less like the other style.
Don't
Well,
you think they'd
Shane
figure it
Lowry
out?
might be
Shane
you know,
Lowry.
a
Totally.
guy like Shane Lowry might be considered a top 10 player.
And they would figure it out, right? I mean, that's kind of the same thing with Bryson's comments earlier this week about not figuring out the wind and ball things, or Rory's really. I mean, if we're playing different stuff, they're going to figure it out. They're literally not just the best golfers on the planet because of like they score really low. It's also because of their brains. And I think it's just so catered to the normal, not just PGA Tour, but I could say Live too. Like, I don't think like Valderrama is the best setup for these guys coming over. I think there's a ton that they could do there too to set their players up to better compete at a major championship. But I don't know in the year 2024 if that really matters. Like to the true like golf historians and everything, winning this major matters. But to a lot of the guys that are just out there playing for money, and there's other places where they can get bigger checks and focus their game on to make sure that they're primed, ready to go then. And that stinks to say.
No, I totally agree. Cody and I look like we're getting ready to go fake each other's deaths, by the way, with these outfits and hats. But I don't know. Easy. This is not even meant as a cheap shot. I'm just like throwing it out there. Like Shane Lowry made a special trip to come over here and see the golf course for an extra day. I thought he said it brilliantly on TV, which was like, man, once these major weeks starts, they go really fast. And picture that for someone like Rory, right? Who has so many demands on their time, who everybody's constantly reaching out at his shirt sleeve, trying to get him to, give a nugget here, or a nugget there, or look this way, or do a sponsored thing, or answer this question. Like, to try to do all of your prep inside of that same window, like compare that to Shane Lowry going there when the golf course is closed. There's no fans, there's no sponsors, there's no anybody there. And you can just take 45 minutes on each hole if you want, to really break it down. And again, not a cheap shot, but like Big Tone's jet lag, like get the fuck out of here, man. Like, you're not going to win. Like, are we serious?
I thought they must not have been too jet lagged because they really hit up church on Tuesday night. So he had plenty of time to reacclimate himself. But isn't it funny how close Shane and Rory are, that Shane takes that week off and is like, yep, I'm going to go play this and do my prep. And probably he's out there with buddies and everything, and he's charting things around. But honestly, he's out there probably just having a really good time trying to get some early work done. And Rory had the exact same week off and is like, I'm going to go to New York City by myself, surround myself by tall buildings, concrete, and just try to suffocate these thoughts and feelings away. Like, dude, go have fun with your boy. Like, go do that. And then when KV comes in and he, hearing what Rory said about Shane, like, yeah, dude, like embrace that. Not turning this back into a Rory thing, just trying to show the difference here.
Agree. And I guess I don't know. I guess the other side of that coin is like if Rory comes out and plays great, then everybody's saying like, oh, he got away from the game. That's what he needed. Is like these guys need to get away and they need to unplug. They need to be human beings. So who knows?
If we know anything about Rory, he'll have the complete opposite approach next year, right? And he'll come over and play a month of links golf. But I think I don't know. On the other side, too, if you play these courses at the wrong speed, right? If it's not like game speed yet, tournament speed yet, you can get like these guys that played practice rounds in the wrong wind, ended up like not being able to figure out their strategy around the golf course. So there's some of that. Like I've heard guys talk about that with Augusta. Like, dude, when I make the advanced trips, like I don't like to putt the greens because they're not tournament speed and they break different when you don't learn them in that time period.
I think that's smart, but I also think Troon, you tell me if you feel the same way. I was watching you hit the tee shots. You were actually hitting them, but like it feels like a very tee shot golf course, and like the tee shots are not going to change.
Yeah,
if the golf course is in different conditions. It's much more about like what these guys look uncomfortable with is like holding it up against the wind on a lot of these tee boxes, rather than like trying to learn. Like I don't think he's out there with his greens book trying to chart all the greens. I think he's just like, I need to feel really comfortable on 11 and 14 and all of all these different tee shots he's hitting.
But I think if I could, I think a pro would answer that in this way. Maybe it's the wrong approach, but I think a pro would say like, hey, the ball striking stuff, like the launching, the cut spin, the draw spin, I need up against all that. Like I do all that on the range. Like that happens on the range, and I use time out on the golf course to get used to chipping around the greens, how balls are reacting on the greens, and to putt to different positions. Like that's how they optimize their time out there. Again, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but you just don't see guys grind out on the golf courses because in theory, like your shot shapes and all that, you just want to get as optimized as possible to go out there and adjust. And, again, maybe if you can simulate the exact wind you're going to get in the tournament, that's great, but it's kind of, it can be difficult to do that. But
man, I when you're going through that, Solly, the one thing that stuck out, and I was like, yep, that's what everybody says every year when we get ready for the Masters time. And obviously they get certain opportunities to go out and play practice rounds, and it's more important to go out and figure out how to hit all the short game shots and everything. But they're not putting too much emphasis on green speeds because they know they're going to get super faster from Tuesday to Wednesday. And then by the time Thursday morning shows up, you have that type of golf. And then we finish the year here, where it's like those green speeds don't fucking matter. They didn't matter today. They didn't matter last week or a month ago. It's about how you get your golf ball around this golf course. And I love the fact that we start each major year at Augusta where everything is as pristine and what you could say optimized as it possibly could be, and then end up here and the ball's on the ground and you're just throwing like everything's chance. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's well said.
Like that. Yeah.
It's the best. I mean, it's a totally different examination, psychological, physical, spirit. It's a spiritual examination too, Randy, if you'll allow that. I mean, it's
the best kind. Truly. I know it's kind of a bit, but like 100% sincerity. Like that's what I want to see. I think that's golf.
We got a couple questions in here. One from Morris Bubba. He said the Thursday morning, Friday afternoon tee times were a 5-shot penalty. Quite accurate, but can this be made more fair? Num1 Ches fan, and this might be Neil Schuster, said, is this a true test that isn't necessarily identifying the best players? I'm going to disagree with the sentiment of both of those to say the tournament's about as fair as they can make it. And part of the deal here is that the conditions are going to vary, and I'm a big fair police guy if there is one, but no, this is the beauty of this tournament. Like you just hope you get the right side of the draw. You handle the bad conditions when they come. I don't know what you do to make it more fair other than like call play this afternoon, which would have been a disgrace. So there's nothing else you can really do.
Well, it's funny when they say in the question here, they said the best player. I guess is this the best test to test the best player? And like their title at the end of the day is like champion. You become the champion golfer of the year. Yeah. And that just means you get the ball in the hole on the fewest strokes possible. And like fuck yeah.
This might be the most punchable, like eye rolly take. Truly, like how you mentally handle yourself on the golf course should be as important as how well you hit a driver.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Like that is a fucking skill. It's the same as reading a green as a skill. It's the same as judging the wind as a skill. It's the same as an iron play as a skill. It's the same as chipping as a skill. Like all of that stuff should add up to the game. And as soon as people get in there with like, this should all be a simulation, you should be able to take all your balls out of divots in the fairway. You should be able to do it. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. That's not how the game works.
There's a ton of like little nuance and luck within like a certain range. I think about this too a lot of times with the Reds, Randy, where it's like they lost the game 3-2. Like the
now
ump blew
hold
three.
on, let me.
All right. The ump blew 3 calls in the zone. There were 2 strikeouts he missed, and Ellie got rung up on a pitch 4 inches outside. And then like 30 minutes later, you're like, yeah, but they also fucking stink, man. Like if they were a better team, they would have just won the game by 4 runs. And it's like that with golf too. I lipped out on 7. I lipped out on 11. Lipped out on 15. And I shot 78. Like if those putts all went in, I would have shot 67. It's like, no, dude, you stunk. Like think about the things that you're actually in control of with, I don't know. That's part of like, it's still kind of a ball don't lie situation with links golf. I mean, I know you can
For sure.
end up on the wrong side of the draw, but the draw did not make Rory shoot 78 over par this week. It's like he stunk, and the draw made him worse on top of that stinking.
No, I mean, you saw Rosie shot 68, where the people around him, the scoring average was 76.1.
Yes.
So it's possible. I hate the take two, because it's like when it works for people, it's like, oh man, golf, it's just like life. You know, it's not fair. It reveals a lot. And then it's like, oh no, we got to make it, exactly the same for everybody. Yeah. I have floated an idea though, going back to the original question, like when there's a big disparity, I wouldn't be opposed to putting a panel of like 5 judges on each hole and just making it a subjective score.
Like
So-and-so, they made a 5 here, but how did they make it? Maybe we adjust that down to like a 4.4. Maybe it's up to a 5.3. Like I would listen to that. I got to flesh it out a little bit though.
I was thinking about that, Randy. I feel like there should be like a game where an alternate game of scoring where like if you hit the fairway and you hit the green on a par 4 and you make a 4, like that's a 3.5. But if you like miss one of those, but you make a 4, that's a 4. Like you gain a half shot on people if you like play the hole properly instead of like scrambling for the 4. There's something there. There's something to that.
Randy, I'm going to get this with our editorial director, KVV, but I think a written piece we might need to do. Maybe it's around like the playoffs or something where there's not much going on. And I think you should go follow a guy for 18 holes and you should say like his objective score, he did shoot 66, but his subjective score was 69.5.
What I have it as, and here's why.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, God, I would read the shit out of that. That sounds great.
We haven't talked about the blow pick at all, but got this question from J.E. Nowak is 83. Why do we only ever hear about sports psychologists when a player is winning and doing well? Wyndham Clark has played horse shit since people put his success down to Julie Elion.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, he still won a major. It's some other like big events, which is which is harder to do than not blow up at other places. So, but yes, it's not good.
I will say this, like at one point of my very, very, very non-distinctive amateur career, I felt like I had mental golf figured out. And it is not something, it is just like practicing like regular golf, and that you have to like maintain the exercises that you're doing. It's not a solved thing, right? And you can convince yourself pretty quickly you've solved mental golf and like pretty easily revert back. Sometimes make it worse. Like I played way worse after I felt like I had it figured out than I was, than the bad play that I needed the mental help on. And it can snowball like really, really quickly. And you start like it's almost, everybody gets in those phases on the golf course too, where you're like, I know I'm being a bitch right now. I want to snap out of it and I can't, which makes it 5 times worse. And he has been humbled very, very quickly. He shot 80 today. He finished at plus 16. He's headed to the Olympics here in a couple of weeks, and a lot of people are quite upset about that. But he qualified for it. He earned it, but it's been a tough go for him since this winter when he was playing really, really freaking good golf.
Did you see those Olympics headshots, by the way? Those are sick.
It's like little passport photos.
Yeah, those are great.
We talk about like time away all the time, Deej, and it's funny because if you go back and look at like a headshot of Wyndham, so this picture that I have up right now, and you look at his shirt and his hat, it looks a hell of a lot different right now than it does prior to the U.S. Open. And I think the biggest thing, it's not so much like time away, and we joke about time away all the time and opportunities to practice or anything else because they have these media and partner obligations. But honestly, you forget about the fact that like they're also running small businesses, and there's a ton of other things, no matter how many people you have hired there to support you, everything else, it's just more time. And that eats into somebody when they're going through their own highs or lows on the mental side of life, let alone their golf game. And I just couldn't imagine. Yeah, we see that in Max right now too. I mean, Max last year compared to this year, I mean, it was so cool to watch him make that putt on 18, but it's just such a fickle place to be.
Yeah.
It's also too, we can kind of slag off some of these, setups and all this stuff, but it just seems like these pro golfers, when you get on, like even a really tough setup can be made without the conditions can be made to look quite simple. But like as soon as you get kind of behind the 8 ball with one facet of your game, it's still relatively tough in a lot of this. There could be an oh shit for a lot of it. Like it's gonna find a way to expose you if you're off on a lot of in even one category. If your driving accuracy is off, it's not that the line between the good play and the really bad play isn't probably as far off as we think it could be. So
Wyndham's also finished top 10 his last 2 starts as well,
Yeah.
just for what that's worth. I don't know if it's a terminal illness that he's battling.
Yeah. Any other shout outs we want to give before we go?
I had one, if you'll allow me. I just wanted to shout out Aguri Iwasaki. Not for shooting a 91, honestly, but for just signing the scorecard. I feel like it would have been so easy for him to walk off the course, WD, like screw this, man. But he signed for it, and good for him. A 91's also nuts in a major.
You should get the letter maybe about coming back.
A tough shout out to my guy Kazuma Kabori, who we met at the Asia Pacific Amateur. He went out 35 today, but made it looks like 4 bogeys and a triple on the back to miss the cut by 1. He shot 76 today, finished at +7, but I was hoping he would make it to the weekend. But all right, that is going to do us for Friday. We have made it through the early ass wake ups of the week. I am excited, of course, for round 3 Open Championship. We will be live right here, courtesy of our friends at High Noon after the completion of round 3. And of course, after the completion of round 4, shout out to High Noon, shout out to Mizuho, shout out to Foresight, Cody running the 1s and 2s, Jordan behind the scenes running the socials, DJ Pie, Big Randy signing off. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll see you back here tomorrow.